5-0 victory against Cardiff Met here at Park Hall. That's the biggest margin win for TNS in the league so far this season. The goals and the assists were spread across the team. A 7-point gap at the top, unbeaten. TNS is in a good place at the moment.
Yeah, we are in a good place. We thought it was I know it doesn't sound like it, but a very solid performance, we felt. We wanted to really up our game at half-time with a 2-goal lead, and I felt like we did do that in our passages of playing with football that we played and the chances that we created. I think there's still room for improvement and probably could have scored some more goals. But yeah, I think all in all we are in a good spot with, I think, 2 very big games coming up and none more so than this week with another home game.
And as we look at the table, we've already referenced the fact that there is a gap of 7 points from TNS to second, and then third and fourth, 10 and 12 points respectively. I know that you said on many occasions that it's all about TNS, but other results have helped so far this season. As you watch games that feature rival teams, do you watch those games as a fan, hoping that they drop points, or do you step back and watch them totally objectively and pick out points as a head coach would?
Yeah, it's going to be a very boring answer, unfortunately, but we really do have to watch it from a tactical point of view, a player point of view, teams that we're playing against. In the lead up to the games, we normally watch 3 games back of their last games, and the staff do a great job at that, as well as myself watching those games. So yeah, unfortunately we're not able to watch them as fans. We don't look at the table too much. I think that's really important, that it's although, like I say, it might be a boring answer, it really is the truth, that I think that you can get too caught up with that and hoping other teams win and lose and then take the eye off the ball with what you're doing yourself. So we're very much focused on that. Even when we drew the other week against Flint, you obviously know the scores that comes in, everybody talks about them, and with the league being so small and that sort of thing, you play each other so many times, so you're up to date with who's doing what and who's winning, and you watch the highlights, etc. But I think making sure that we keep our focus and aims right is the most important thing, and that is definitely what we do. So yeah, a number of times we've watched our rival teams in games that they've been playing against other teams, but we're trying to look at it from a football point of view, and hopefully that served us well so far, so we'll continue doing that.
Back-to-back JD Cymru Premier games at Park Hall, so it's Haverfordwest County this coming Saturday. They've won their last 2, which means they're the second current informed team in the league. Only Penabont have won more than that. They've won 3 on the bounce. Good performance against the New Saints at the Bridge Meadow Stadium in August. They'll be full of confidence, no pressure and nothing to lose.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting one, their side there. As you say, they've won the last 2 good wins in the league. I think they've only lost 1 in 5 as well, and maybe won 3, drawn 1, lost 1 in that last 5 games. I think a snapshot of 5 games is a good guide to where a team is at that time. So yeah, I think it'll be a tough one, as you said. Very difficult game when we played them down at their place. They would say that they could have got a point if not won the game there. We were far from our best that day, but got the early goal and managed to sort of, you could say, hold on in the end. So they threw a lot at us. I think they've got some good players there. Cisse Toure, the lad who I worked with at Grimsby Town when he was there, I know him well. Having seen his game and worked with him, is highly effective and a real handful at times. I think they've got the lad Fawcett and Wilson who are good quality players as well, and a little bit of experience to throw in there. There's a couple of injuries. I'm not sure whether there'll be a couple of their other key players, like a Henry Jones or a Jazz Richards at the fullback playing, but I think they've got enough there to cause us problems, and we're definitely aware of their threats and what they'll be trying to do when they come here.
In recent seasons, TNS hasn't been as consistent at home as previously. Yeah. However, this time round, including pre-season friendlies, 12 wins from 12 games. What would you say would be the factors involved in the re-establishment of Fortress Park Hall?
Yeah, it's a good question really. It hasn't been maybe a real intent focus, but I think it's been we've tried to win every game we've played, home or away. I think we've had more of our better performances this season at home, in terms of goals, results, obviously you're saying there, but also performances. But I think like at any team, if you want to be right up there come the end of the season, you need to make sure you're winning the high majority of your home games. And I feel like that has been a focus from us. I don't think we've had to say too much about that to the players so far. I think that's their mentality. They want to win every game, especially at home. So I think, yeah, that's important. I think Europe probably gave us a lot of good, I'd say the 2 games in Europe gave us a lot of confidence leading into the season that we can win and win well here against anyone if we're playing to our maximum and performing well. So, yeah, it's probably something we haven't given too much thought about, but when you put it like that, it is vitally important that you're right, it becomes a fortress here, and that we make sure that we're winning and we keep that run going here at home.
There were some good individual performances against Cardiff Met. Have individual players done enough to keep their shirt for this coming Saturday, or are you detached from what happened in that game, focused on this one, and you'll make your selection accordingly?
Yeah, both really, to be fair, is the answer. I think that's important. I mean, you're right, there were some good individual performances in that game. Training this week's been right at it so far. We did a little bit of extra work today, doing some 11v11 work, and the players who didn't start were highly competitive against the other ones who started, and then we mixed the teams up and we did a bit of shape work with the 2 teams mixed together. So it was very competitive. Players who had started are trying to keep that spot, others who are there are trying to win it back, and you could look at it and go, the ones who haven't started in the last week game, there's a good case for a lot of them to be starting as a regular starter for TNS. And the players are in the team know that, and the players are out the team know that as well. So good problems to have at the moment. Virtually most players fit. I'm sure we'll get onto that in a minute. But that, yeah, it's really competitive at the moment. So probably a bit of both. You don't want to disrupt too much what's been done before. However, tactically as well, there's options for us to change, and we've got very good options, especially in forward and midfield areas that could come into the side.
And in reference to the competitiveness of the players and your selection for the upcoming games, is it sometimes a case of who do you leave out as opposed to who do you pick because the competition is so intense?
Yeah, I mean, we do a thing in training where we keep the scores in all the small-sided games and possessions. I don't give away too much about what we do, but I think that's important to know that it's very competitive. The scores are recorded. We put them in at the end of the month so the players know who's won the most games, and we feel that that's a way of doing it where you see who the individual winners are, but for them to win and be an individual winner and be in the top 3 players, you have to make your team win and be a team player. So it really shows and highlights who the team players are in the team and how they win the most games. So sometimes that can be more competitive than sometimes some of the games we play as well. So the players are right on it. It's that's a good way of looking at it and doing it, and I think that keeps that competition healthy and gives us problems when we're picking the team on a Saturday.
And finally, as far as picking the team is concerned, what's the availability that you have to you looking ahead to the Haverfordwest County game?
Yeah, no, most players are available at the moment. We've had 1 or 2 knocks this week, but nothing major that would keep anyone out. So literally a full squad to pick from. Leo Smith's obviously back in after his suspension as well, so that would be a good plus to have in the squad. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting him back, and most of the players are fit and ready to go.